What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. And in today's video we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be going over a lot of the questions that you guys have had on the channel over the past month. As opposed to calling this as like an out and out, Q&A video, I've decided to approach it from like a different angle and take a more serious approach with it. So every now and then when I see some really good questions put forward in the comments of my videos on the channel going forward, I'll combine them all over time and make it into one big video where I, discuss and just analyze and, talk about things about the game. So basically talk about the burning questions that you guys have and then bring it into a video format for us all to have this big discussion. So that's what we're going to be doing here today, but this one's not going to be, as serious. There are some like more goofier questions here just for a little bit of fun, but just so you guys know, that's going to be a series going forward on the channel and it starts here. Now, if you are new around here and want to see more Star Wars Battlefront 2 content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell and let me know in the comments below any questions or queries or discussion topics you might have for me to put in a video in a few weeks' time. But now let's dive on into the questions, and Artix13X asks, do you think we could get new Clone Wars planets in the future, Utapau for example? Pretty simple, yes, I do think we will, but I think that they are, a long way away, perhaps very late 2020, early 2021 if they still are going to be supporting Battlefront 2 into 2021. However, I don't think it would be a planet like Coruscant. Utapau, I think, is something that is much more likely, and we could see, paratroopers to go alongside Utapau, and I don't think we get heroes alongside it either. I think if we do get another Clone Wars planet, it might drop like Felucia did. Like we get some reinforcements and a new planet, and that's about it. I don't have very high expectations or optimism when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I try and set the expectations low so I'm not disappointed. But moving on, Vagis Not asks, what are your thoughts on the state of the game so far? Now, Battlefront 2 has had its ups and downs. Right now, I'm not overly happy with the state of the game at all. Bugs are once again taking a hold of the game, and it's at a point now where bugs and things not working are just like normal for this game. And I mean, that's not okay. Bugs shouldn't be normal. We should be able to use heroes without encountering bugs every 5 seconds. I really do think that a Bacta update is needed for Battlefront 2. And content-wise, the game's, not too bad, but we definitely do need more maps, obviously. But we need to keep our, our expectations in check at the same time and be realistic. And also touching on that, I think that DICE really need to do more playtesting before releasing content into the game. The state of Battlefront 2 is constantly jumping all over the place because, new updates, it's normally, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. It's just, that's basically the routine of Battlefront 2. It's very all over the place, and the state of the game is constantly changing, and the bugs and the glitches, they really can affect my enjoyment of the game, and I know it's like that for a lot of people as well. But now moving on, Felix asks, what is the 5 most pointless things in Battlefront 2, and will you go see episode 9 in the movies? So first off, one of the most pointless things in Battlefront 2 I would have to say is hero starfighters. I don't know why they put their time and resources into that game mode when not a lot of people are playing starfighter game modes anyway. Another pointless thing would have to be, hero abilities, because they just don't work, a fair percentage of the time. Spawn locations, I think, need a lot of work, and, some of them are stupidly pointless, where you just spend the entire match just running back to the action. But either way, I think that spawn locations need work, and some of them are just, kind of pointless right now. Also, lightsaber stagger, I think, is pointless. It just doesn't need to be there. I think the gameplay would be better off without it, personally. And the hero selection system, I think, is really pointless. I think we should be able to queue for heroes. And as for whether I will go see episode 9 in the movies, yes, I will. I'm very excited for it. I will be there at the midnight screening like I was for The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rogue One. So don't you worry, I'll be there. But moving on to the next question from Mason Abbott, he asks, do you have any unpopular Star Wars opinions? Now, I have a fair few, probably more than most people. One of them is I like The Last Jedi. It's obviously not perfect, don't get me wrong. Take Rose and Canto Bight out of the film and, I'm very happy with it. And as for the people who, whinge about Luke, you can't expect someone to be the same person they were 30 years ago. So for the people that say, oh, Luke wouldn't do that, he wouldn't do that, people change. It's called a character arc. And especially when you go through what he went through, you can't expect him to be the same person. So the decisions made with Luke in The Last Jedi, I'm okay with. And another one of my unpopular Star Wars opinions being Revenge of the Sith is actually my favorite Star Wars movie, and that actually seems to be growing in popularity, that opinion, so that might not be as unpopular as I think. Another unpopular opinion I have is that Ewoks taking down the biggest tyrant in the galaxy. I can't deal with that one personally. You know, space bears taking down the Empire. Obviously not single-handedly, but still, it's, yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one. I've been hung up on that one for a long time. And as for some other unpopular Star Wars opinions, like I said, sequels are enjoyable, and I think that Kylo Ren is one of the best characters so far in Star Wars. He is very, very well written, he's conflicted, he's not one note, and he is very well performed by Adam Driver. So there's plenty of unpopular opinions there to, you know, piss a few people off in the comments. So I'm going to be looking forward to see what the comment section has to say about it. And moving on to the next question from Nathan Smith. He asks, what was the biggest WTF decision or update to Battlefront 2 in your opinion? What is a decision that makes no sense to you? In my opinion, the Night on Endor update, or whatever it was called, the one that gave us Ewok Hunt, was a terrible decision given the state of Battlefront 2 and the community at the time. I remember Twitter just being in an absolute frenzy when the news dropped. Like, it just showed that DICE's and EA's priorities were just in the wrong place. You know, we were expecting, you know, a Clone Wars reveal or something like that, and then we got Ewok Hunt. It made no sense at the time, and it would have made sense for them to drop something like that now. But yeah, as for back then, I still can't to this day believe that they actually done that, especially given the way Battlefront 2 was and the state of the game and the community. But now on to the next question from Philomena Sabelli. Do you know other Battlefront YouTubers like Twisted Jedi, Sammy Boy, and the Star Bazaar? I do. The YouTubers in this community, we communicate a lot, especially ones, you know, around my channel size, you know, in between the 20 to 40k mark. We all get along and talk a lot. They're all a really good bunch of guys, and I've had some fun making videos with some of them too. So, yeah, they're all a great bunch of dudes. We're lucky. We've got a community with some really cool creators. And moving on, GetWrecked777 asks, how excited are you for Star Wars 9? I'm looking forward to it, and I know what I'm about to say is going to piss a lot of people off, but you know what? I'm going to let it be. Unlike most people, I haven't, you know, judged and cracked a tantrum over the sequel trilogy, despite only seeing 2 of the films. A lot of people seem to think that we were going to get every ounce of closure possible in the second film of a trilogy and have every question answered and basically leave nothing for episode 9, but obviously, logically, that did not happen, so people were disappointed. So I am really looking forward to episode 9, and you know, there's lots of questions to answer, and I've got full faith that J.J. Abrams will be able to wrap up the saga in a really good way. And Palpatine's role looks like it could be a really cool twist on what we've seen so far, and I think that if Episode 9, you know, is a home run, it could really boost The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. But you know, people are going to complain no matter what Episode 9 ends up being like, whether it's a masterpiece or a total failure, people are going to complain and claim that, you know, their childhoods were ruined, and I'm just going to be sitting back there absolutely pissing myself laughing. But moving on to X Supreme Flexin, he asks, what made you start YouTube? I was actually kind of good at Battlefront 2015. I know it hasn't really translated over to Battlefront 2, but I was actually quite good at it. I loved playing it. I played it all the time. And one day I just kind of thought, why not make some videos on it? I used to watch YouTubers like Cryptic and Elliot from Battlefront Updates quite a bit. And I had a guy ask me when I was playing if I was a Battlefront YouTuber on a game that I was just going nuts with, like 180 kills. And yeah, that kind of just, you know, gave me the idea, and the rest is history. And the next question by the Blue Bomber 87.5, he asks, if you could add one hero, map, game mode, or reinforcement, or anything in general to the game, what would it be? So for the hero, I would have to say Ahsoka. Hopefully she isn't too far away. As for the map, I would say the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. It would be a really fun place to, you know, pretend to slay some younglings, and it's an iconic location of the prequels. As for the game mode, I would have to say Wampa Hunt. Being caught in a blizzard in first person with Wampas chasing you around, that would be a ton of fun. And as for the reinforcement, I would say the Magna Guard, because they would be a very good lightsaber counter, and I mean, they look awesome, and they really should be in Battlefront 2. And the final question of this video from Jack Price, he asks, what's the best scene in any Star Wars movie? For me, it has to be between Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar. It's emotional as hell, and there is so much meaning behind it. You know, Anakin and Obi-Wan having their little force push stalemate is just like awesome. It gives me chills every single time. You know, it shows how equal they are. Obi-Wan taught Anakin everything he knew, and, you know, now they're pitted off against each other. It's awesome. And at the end where Obi-Wan says Anakin was his brother, it's so good, and I hardly understand any hate Revenge of the Sith gets when it has, you know, moments like that. So I kind of cheated with that question as I included the entire Obi-Wan Anakin fight as a scene, even though it drags out over 15 minutes, but oh well, I love it. But guys, those were some of the questions you put forward for me to answer in this video. I'll definitely make these kinds of videos more of a formal thing as opposed to, you know, goofy Q&As like I've done in the past. There are a few goofier questions in here, but I want to take a more serious tone with these videos going forward. So like I said, like focusing on some more serious questions regarding Battlefront 2 and Star Wars as a whole, and maybe some YouTube stuff too. So if you guys have any questions you want me to answer, then be sure to put them in the comment section below, and who knows, you might appear in an upcoming video. But if you did go on to enjoy this video and do want to see more like it, then be sure to drop a like to show your support and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But that is pretty much going to do it for this video, so thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you all again real soon.